welcome back to another Logan Blackman show preview. We are here. We are live at some point here in the beautiful Urbandale, Iowa. I am Logan Blackman, of course, host of the world famous Logan Blackman show. We are here doing an NFL preview. We've been off YouTube for a little bit, not long though, but a little bit. We last did the USA men's national team previews in the Gold Cup. Those videos did pretty well. We've done mostly NFL and soccer videos on this YouTube channel so far because I feel like it's the things I can talk about the most maybe, but we'll try to get, I'm not going to say try, but we might put some other videos out there just to see what happens. I don't really know. We might do some college football stuff. We might do some NBA hockey stuff, more MLB stuff. So we'll have to wait and see, but make sure you do whatever and just watch the video. Stay through the entire video. It's going to be probably a long one again. But if you watched the last one, which is 53 minutes long, you know what to expect. We got the wheel of teams right here in front of us. So let's give the wheel a spin. And our first team to kick off the 2019-20 season is the Dallas Cowboys. The big story this offseason, Ezekiel Elliott not signing contracts. He has come out and said that he will not play without a new deal. And then there's the likes of Dak Prescott, who people suspected to get a contract around 30, asking for a reported $40 million. I don't know if I wouldn't be going around paying Dak Prescott $40 million. That's just me. I'm not ready to live in a world where Dak Prescott's the highest paid player in the NFL. I don't know if I'm ready for that type of world yet, but you also got the likes of Amari Cooper on the outside as well. They got Randall Cobb in free agency to get another wide receiver for Dak Prescott. Jason Witten came out of the Monday Night Football booth, thankfully, and is back on the field for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys did sign Alfred Morris this offseason, so we might be going and seeing a little more Alfred Morris this season as well. They got another running back in there as well. I think he's a rookie, but I can't remember his name. It'll be interesting to see how the Cowboys do. Their defense is a top 10 defense. They got a good defense with DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, and Smith there at the linebacker spots. They got a good defense. The offense just needs to get sorted out. The O-line, good. Quarterback, we don't have him sign a new contract, but he's there. Amari Cooper one side, Cobb in the slot, and then hopefully Zeke. But if Zeke's not there, the Cowboys will not reach their full potential. I don't think there's a Cowboys fan that would argue with me with that, because Zeke is the main cog in their offense. And this is also another thing. The Cowboys have not made back-to-back playoff appearances since the 2006 playoffs and the 2007 playoffs. That was when Bill Parcells was the coach, and the next year was Wade Phillips. Under Jason Garrett, they've never done it and haven't done it since 2007. And it's not going to change this year. They went to the playoffs last year. They're not going it this year. So we're going to keep that streak of missing not going to back-to-back playoff games alive with the Cowboys. I have them going 8-8, which is better than what I had predicted last year with 7-9. This all depends if Zeke plays. If Zeke plays, they could be better than 8-8. But right now, as it stands, we're in mid-August. 8-8, Dallas Cowboys record.
Wow.
Moving on to the next team on our wheel. Who do we got next on the wheel of teams? The Jacksonville Jaguars, the team we completely erased from the wheel last year and had to do a whole separate video about them. Jaguars got rid of Blake Bortles. New age at Jacksonville. Now we've had people from the Jaguars come out and talk about how it's different. I'm not going to go there, but I think it was Miles Jack or Telvin Smith. I can't remember who it was. But they got a new quarterback, Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP, beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Almost retired before coming back to the Eagles. He was on the Chiefs, retired for a little bit. I think he was going to be a pastor or something. Went to the Philadelphia Eagles, backed up Carson Wentz, and then as fate would have it, leads him to the Super Bowl, and now is on an NFL roster, starting for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So a big contract as well. I can't remember how much it was to be exact. This might be wrong. This might be very wrong, but $88 million for 4 years? That might be wrong. I'm pretty confident that's wrong. But other than that, they didn't really do anything this offseason. I mean, they drafted Josh Allen. At number 7, same year as they drafted this Josh Allen. My dad and I, there's a video on it, went to the Bills-Jaguars game last year, the game that Jalen Ramsey was looking for. Josh Allen was looking for a first game comeback from injury. Went to that game. They didn't look good. Really at all. They really don't have any wide receivers. They still have Keelan Cole there. But that's about it. Leonard Fournette, can he go back to his old self? Can the defense go back to what they were before? And I'm going to make a prediction. I think this is Doug Marrone's last year in Jacksonville. Either he gets fired midway through the season or some point during the season, or he gets fired after the season. I don't see Doug Marrone lasting more than past this season. I think the Jaguars go 5-11, and it's finally the end of the Doug Marrone era in Jacksonville. Sorry, Jags fans, but you're finishing last in your division. That's terrible. You hate to see it.
Wow.
Not really. And also, bold prediction, Jalen Ramsey, I'm going to say he's going to go to the LA Chargers next year. He's friends with Derwin James, was in the Derwin James draft room when he got drafted by the LA Chargers last year. We'll talk about Derwin James and the Chargers a little bit. He's friends with Casey Hayward as well. I think this offseason we'll see Jalen Ramsey move teams because he's a free agent, brought the Brinks truck to practice, doesn't expect to get paid. So we'll see what he does, but I'm going to say he goes to the LA Chargers. If not, I don't think him or Doug Marrone will be back next year. Maybe we might see Leonard Fournette gone as well. We might see a big change in Jacksonville this offseason. We have 5-11. Another not fun season for the Jacksonville Jaguars and their fans. Kept you in the video though, so that's good. Who do we got next on the wheel of teams? Wow, we said we'd talk about them in a little bit, and here they are right now, the LA Chargers. Now the LA Chargers, this one's interesting. Right now, this is kind of what I said about the Buffalo Bills in the last preview. There's the big question mark. Now, you don't know if Melvin Gordon's going to be back. Melvin Gordon is integral to that offense. Yeah, they went 4-0 when he wasn't playing last year, but he is so important to that offense. They need Melvin Gordon to be successful. Yes, they have Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson, but it's not Melvin Gordon. They can't take the physical pounding Melvin Gordon takes every time he carries the ball. And him holding out for this big contract, analytically, it doesn't make sense for him because he's only been healthy for one real season. He didn't do anything his rookie year, obviously well documented. He didn't score a single touchdown his rookie season. Got injured the next season. I think he was 3 yards. I think it was the next season. He was 3 yards away from 1,000, and he got injured against the Carolina Panthers, hurt his hip. And yeah, analytically, like if you're looking at it from injury history, he is not worthy of a big contract, but the play on the field, when he is healthy, is good. Top 5 pick in fantasy football. Usually, he's my first pick usually every single season, but yeah, if he's not there, that's going to be a big issue for the LA Chargers offense. Phillip Rivers still there. I'm not going to say Mr. Consistency. Again, when we say playing on the field, like being consistently starting, he's consistent, but he can make some erotic throws every now and again. Keenan Allen, I guess, injured his ankle, I believe it is, but it's considered not to be serious there. Hunter Henry's coming back from an ACL tear last year. Russell Okung is out on that left tackle spot for right now. Whenever he comes back, that'll be interesting. Dan Feeney, who's been playing guard for most of his career with the Chargers, has played center in place of Pouncey for a little bit just so he can get some rest. Forrest Lamp is finally going to see some action this season after missing his first 2 seasons in the NFL with injuries. The right side of the O-line I'm still not a fan of with Sam Tevy and Michael Schofield on that right tackle and right guard spot. Not a fan of that. We'll have to see how that works out. Mike Williams, I would expect him to have a big season. Led the team in receiving touchdowns, if I remember correctly, and was usually the number 3 receiver on the team. Not the slot guy, but what they bring in 4-man sets. They had Keenan Allen and Tyrell Williams. Travis Benjamin was the deep threat, and Mike Williams was the red zone target, usually. So I'd expect Mike Williams to take a step up this year, the number 7 pick from a few years ago. We'll see how that goes. They got Thomas Davis in this offseason as well. Older linebacker, brings some experience to that defense. The interior of the D-line, though, with I think Justin from NC State, Justin Jones, and at one of the tackle spots will be there. The Jeremy Tillery will come in there as well, the first-round draft pick from this year. Joey Bosa, can he stay healthy this year? We already know about Melvin Ingram and Joey. My opinion, the best pass rush duo in the NFL if they're both healthy and at both of their strengths. Casey Hayward will be there. He needs to step up this year. Had a little more of a down year this year. Desmond King dominated again in this nickel corner spot, but can he move out to outside? So that outside cornerback opposite Casey Hayward is a little bit of a question mark. Jason Verrett is gone, went to the 49ers. They were kind of waiting for him to get back from injury. He's gone. The injury plague is gone to San Francisco. So we'll see how that goes for him. Hopefully he stays healthy. But Derwin James, speaking of health issues, has a stress fracture in his foot and will be out he'll miss significant time. I think it was, oh crap, I don't even know. I think it was like 3 months he might be out or something like that. That's a huge loss. First team All-Pro safety, rookie safety, first team All-Pro, first team All-Rookie, second in Rookie of the Year voting behind Darius Leonard. A big loss on defense. They do have Nasir Adderley, the draft pick from Delaware, their second-round draft pick from Delaware. He'll play the other safety there. But yeah, the Chargers, just for me, are a big question mark. I don't think they're ready with the question marks around Melvin Gordon's situation, Derwin James's health. And the offensive line's still iffy for me. I don't think they're going to take the crown away from Kansas City this year. I'm going to go with the Chargers 11-5, which is a one-game drop from last year, but 11-5 for the LA Chargers. Still make the playoffs, obviously. Locked for the playoffs. The top 5 seeds in the AFC are locked. It's just that last wild card spot for me that I think is a little bit of a mystery. But yeah, the Chargers make the wild card at 11-5.
Wow.
Next wheel. The Carolina Panthers. We talked about Thomas Davis going to the LA Chargers. Now his former team where he spent all of his career prior to this year, the Carolina Panthers. Question mark for the Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton's health. Can he stick? Is his shoulder good enough to last the season? If not, that's going to be a big issue for them. They do still have Christian McCaffrey, one of the best all-purpose backs in the NFL, which a lot of people didn't really see coming when he first got drafted. They see like, oh, maybe he's just a third down back. He's just going to be a receiving back. So he came in, they had Jonathan Stewart still there, big old beefy running back. He was going to be the receiving back, but no, he carried the load for that offense last year. He was the offense. Cam Newton had a career year in completion percentage, all thanks to Christian McCaffrey. The dump-off throws, it increased Cam Newton's percentage by it was pretty close to like 10% or something, maybe like 8%. It was insane, the increase in completion percentage, because that's who they had there at running back. Christian McCaffrey, a great outlet out of the backfield. Greg Olsen, can he stay healthy this year? Outside the wide receivers, Devin Funchess is no longer there, so you're going to see DJ Moore taking more of the receiving duties this year.
Start me.
Start you? You give me 2 points, I'm just like, nuts.
You still got Curtis Samuel there as well. We'll see how he does. And they got Matt Paradis over from the Denver Broncos this offseason, athletic center. See how he does in that offense as well. Carolina Panthers, we talked about this on the last one. This is one of my favorite stats ever because one of my friends is a Carolina Panthers fan. The Carolina Panthers have never had back-to-back winning seasons in their entire franchise. But good thing for them, they only won 7 games last year, which I got 100% right last year. Just saying. But they'll go 8-8 this year. They won't make the playoffs, but 8-8, I think that's a good record for the Carolina Panthers. See if Cam Newton stays healthy. They may be better than that. So we'll have to wait and see.
Wow.
Next team on the wheel of teams. The New England Patriots, the reigning Super Bowl champions. Tom Brady coming back again, 42 years old. Crazy old. My dad's only 6 years older than him. That's crazy. Man, whenever Tom Brady retires, all the teams in the AFC East, well, I guess the AFC in general will be like,
yes! He's gone!
But we still have Belichick. I bet they'll retire at the same time. There's been reports and been rumors circulating that this might be Brady's last year. So we'll have to wait and see. We can only hope we can only hope. So let's just see if that actually happens. But there's some slight rumors coming out that this might be his last year. Shocking end to his career like this. They did get Jarrett Stidham in the draft this year, and Patriots reports about the Patriots say they love Jarrett Stidham. Very good quarterback out of Auburn, formerly of Baylor as well. He's a good quarterback. Might be the perfect replacement for Tom Brady whenever he does decide to hang it up. But so they got their QB of the future in Brian Hoyer right behind him. No, I'm joking, obviously. But yeah, the Patriots this offseason, they improved. They did lose Rob Gronkowski, but they did gain Ben Watson. That's not really like a... It's not really... Ben's just kind of there. He was there with New England in the start. Yeah, he's just kind of there. He's not anywhere near the same level as Gronk. Dwayne Allen went down to Miami to follow former defensive coach Brian Flores down there. So they don't have him there anymore. So Ben Watson comes in from New Orleans to try and take the load off for the tight end spot. They did get some receivers. N'Keal Harry, first-round talent from Arizona State. Big-bodied wide receiver. Best receiver in the draft as regards to physicality and catching abilities to a lot of them. It was just that 40 time that kept him really from being a first round or a later round draft pick. First round talent, it was just a 40 that was the biggest issue for him, but 40 times are not the same as football speed times. There's a difference between running in your underwear and running in shoulder pads and cleats. It's a big difference. But yeah, they also added the likes of Demaryius Thomas, their offense as well, get another receiver in there. Still have Julian Edelman there as well. Did lose Trent Brown to the Oakland Raiders, signing the biggest contract in offensive line history. Still have Sonny Michel, got Damian Harris in from Alabama, who was used to a platoon backfield. Did it with Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs down in Alabama. So he's used to the platoon system, which the Patriots run really well. So Sonny Michel will be in there as well. Those two will be probably the main guys for the running backs this year for the New England Patriots. Their defense still have one of the best corners, if not the best corner in the NFL, in Stephon Gilmore, formerly of the Buffalo Bills. My dad used to be so frustrated with Stephon Gilmore. Crazy how people change when they go to the New England Patriots. But Stephon Gilmore, still there. Still outside corner. Fantastic corner. Goodness gracious. But yeah, Patriots, I have them going 11-5 this year.
Wow.
Dropping down a game from, they either went 11-5, 12-4 last year, but 11-5. I don't have them winning in the Super Bowl this year. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that already. But I do have them winning the AFC East because it's the Patriots in the AFC East. So, there you go. Next team here, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, okay, this one's a little interesting. I love Russell Wilson. One of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL is that man from, I'm going to say NC State because I don't like Wisconsin. So, NC State going there to Seattle, winning a Super Bowl, leading his team to a Super Bowl. He is the only reason that team is anywhere near playoff contention. The offensive line still needs to be answered. I'm getting frustrated that they're not addressing the offensive line. Same thing with the Colts. The Colts improved their offensive line. Look how good they were last year with Quentin Nelson there. Insanely good offensive guard. The Seahawks need to do the same. They did add DK Metcalf, the physical beast, the physical specimen from the NFL Combine, so we'll see how he does there. Hasn't really done a lot in college. Had a neck injury that kept him out most of his last season at Ole Miss. Almost forgot there. But, yeah, it should be very interesting to see how Seattle does this year. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about Seattle. Don't have Earl Thomas there. The last piece of the Legion of Boom is gone. Yeah, they got Zeke Ansah. They got LJ Collier to try and replace the Kansas City Chief bound Frank Clark. See how that goes. Some considered that a reach, but I did hear reports of that prior to the draft. They were looking at LJ Collier. So yeah, we'll see how Seattle does, but I do have them going 7-9 this year. Maybe a little better, but 7-9 this year for the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
Next team. The Miami Dolphins. Ooh, I'm excited to talk about this one. Miami Dolphins, we're nailing it down. They are going to be the worst team in the NFL this season. Why, you might ask?
It was all that Dan Marino's fault. Everyone knows that.
That's not really the point of them sucking this year. I'm sorry, Mom, but I say it. They're going to suck. They do have Fitzmagic and Josh Rosen, so maybe they'll start off the season strong if Fitzmagic starts, because he always starts the season strong. Just the end of it, where he kind of tails off, he gets a contract, does good at the beginning, and then doesn't really do anything for us here, and then we'll see Josh Rosen there. But the Dolphins don't have anything. They lost Jawan James to the Denver Broncos, right tackle there, so they don't have a spot at tackle. They got Laramie Tunsil still there, though. At wide receiver, who do they even have? They have Kenny Stills, Devontae Parker. They lost Danny Amendola to the Detroit Lions. Got Dwayne Allen from the New England Patriots. We talked about that one a little bit ago. And Kenyon Drake, that running back. There's really not a lot to say. Xavier Howard and Kenyon Drake are the really only two good players on this team. I don't know. They're not going to be good this year. They got a new head coach in Brian Flores. We'll see how he does. Normally, New England Patriots head coaches, or New England Patriot, Bill Belichick, under this coaching tree, don't usually do that well once they leave the New England Patriot system. So it'll be interesting to see how Brian Flores does this season. They did draft Christian Wilkins last season from this past draft from Clemson, who led Clemson to one of the best defensive lines in all of college football. Rushing defense, top 5 in the country, or top 10 if it wasn't in the top 5. One of the best rush defenses in all of the country last year. The Dolphins just aren't going to be very, they're just not going to be very good. The rush defense wasn't good last year. That's why you had Wilkins. Pass defense wasn't good, even though they had Xavier Howard. And they gave up a bunch of sacks last year and lost their starting right tackle. They're not going to be that good this year. I'm sorry, Miami Dolphins. You're going to have the worst record in the league, and this might be a little harsh. Maybe you're a little better than this. Maybe you're like 3-13, but 2-14 for the Miami Dolphins. Maybe you're 3-13. Maybe you're sneak up somehow to 4-12, but I don't think you're going to do better than that.
Wow.
I'm sorry, all you Miami Dolphins fans out there. It's not going to be a fun season, but you can expect Tua next season, so that'll be fun. If you do end up finishing this bad, you'll have the number 1 or 2 pick. So, competing with another team that we'll talk about in a little bit. The Indianapolis Colts. Now, Andrew Luck was healthy a full season last year. Won Comeback Player of the Year, had a dominating year last year. The Colts offensive line allowed the least amount of sacks in the NFL last season, which is a crazy statistic based off of what they used to be on that offensive line. Used to be abysmal offensive line. They had a Devin Funchess this offseason, and they got T.Y. Hilton still there, and Eric Ebron, who had... How many touchdowns did he have last year? I'm going to say like 15. That's probably wrong, but they still have Eric Ebron. Really good O-line. Darius Leonard still there. Led the league in tackles as a rookie. Defensive Rookie of the Year. They got a good team. They got all their situations sorted. If Andrew Luck stays healthy, they will go far in this season. They will go far this season if he stays healthy. But even if he doesn't, they've got a top 10, top 5 backup in the league in Jacoby Brissett. So they don't have to worry that much. It's not like, what's a good example of this? If Tom Brady goes down, Brian Hoyer goes in. We don't have that kind of situation here where we got to panic a little bit. No, Jacoby Brissett's a very good backup option for the Indianapolis Colts. But if Andrew Luck's there, Colts go very far this season, and I have them going 11-5.
Wow.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they do have a new head coach in Bruce Arians. Dirk Cutter is now back at his old gig as the OC for the Atlanta Falcons, so we'll see how the Falcons do. We'll talk about them in a little bit. But Bruce Arians came out of retirement to coach the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can't think of a better job to come out of retirement for. It's such a great job. The Buccaneers, they are an interesting team. Bruce Arians may be able to elevate some of the players that they have on the team, but right now, I'm not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last season, I said they'd be the worst team in the NFL. I wasn't terribly far off. But this year, Jameis Winston could have a big year this year for the Bucs. Like, Bruce Arians may be able to elevate him this season, get him to get some big numbers. He always puts up big numbers. The Tampa Bay Bucs had the best passing offense in the entire league last year with a combination of Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Fitztruckstick, Ryan Fitzhitstick. I saw that on Twitter. That was pretty funny. I completely forgot about that when we were talking about the Dolphins. But, yeah, they don't have a running game. They still don't have a running game. I want the Bucs to have a running game. Ronald Jones was supposed to be the running back a couple years ago. He did absolutely nothing for the Buccaneers. And then the wide receiver, you lost Deshaun Jackson up to the Philadelphia Eagles, back to the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost Humphreys to the Tennessee Titans. So now they just got Mike Evans. Mike Evans, top 10 wide receiver, easily, but he's going to... So if you want fantasy owners, Mike Evans, look out for him. No running game. Jameis Winston, 1 target. Him and O.J. Howard, look out. But, yeah, they really don't have anybody else at that wide receiver spot. Mike Evans and O.J. Howard will be the really only 2 targets for Jameis Winston this season. Their O-line's still not very good. Their defense, they lost Kwan Alexander, their middle linebacker, their best player on that defensive side of the ball. Lost Gerald McCoy, cut Gerald McCoy. Released Gerald McCoy. He's now in the Carolina Panthers. And you brought in Ndamukong Suh. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe Vita Vea does better this year. So, I don't know. I just don't like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do have them going 4-12 this season. I could see them going worse. I could see them doing 5-11 maybe. But no, they're not going to do like anything crazy and go 500. They'll stay well below 500 this season.
Wow.
Moving on. Buccaneers 4-12 if I didn't say that. The Buffalo Bills. Now, I've seen a lot of crazy predictions about the Buffalo Bills this year. I think it's pretty ridiculous, to say the least, that if people think that they're going to get... I saw a mock draft that had them picking number 3 and taking Jerry Jeudy. Or no, Chase Young. No, they're not finishing with the number 3 pick. The only way they're getting that pick is if they trade up for it. They're not losing that many games. They won 6 games last year. They went 6-10 last season with Kelvin Benjamin as the number 1 receiver. They got rid of him. He went to Kansas City. That dude was the number 6 wide receiver on the roster. Booger McFarland said he's a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end. The dude was 245 pounds or around that number, and I don't care what he's listed. That dude is not below 240. I don't care what he's listed. If he's listed somewhere in the 230s, that is complete BS. Kelvin Benjamin could look like he could have cared less on the outside for the Buffalo Bills the entire season, not even just last season, the season before as well. Gave zero effort 99% of the time. Robert Foster was a revelation last year, got cut, re-signed, and then had the first 100-yard game for the Bills, I think it was against the New York Jets, in a year, or about a year. Absolutely crazy. Zay Jones still there. Still waiting to Zay Jones to figure out his potential. Led the nation in catches his last year at ECU. We'll have to see if he actually develops there. They added the likes of John Brown, speedster from Baltimore. They got Cole Beasley, one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. Got rid of Charles Clay, added a plethora of tight ends. Dawson Knox, Croft from Cincinnati, Tommy Sweeney. Still got Jason Kroon there. They improved the entire offensive line. Got rid of everybody minus Deion Dawkins. Deion Dawkins still starting at left tackle. Drafted Cody Ford, who was a part of the best offensive line in college football at Oklahoma. Got Mitch Morse, who, minus the injury problems and concussion issues, is the best center, one of the best centers in the NFL, highest paid center in the NFL. John Feliciano, Aaron Long, Quentin Spain from the Tennessee Titans. They did not get worse. They're better than they were last year. They added like 100 running backs. Frank Gore, TJ Yeldon, Devin Singletary, Christian Wade, the dude from the rugby league in England. They're not getting worse. They're coming back with the number 2 defense in the league last year. And they drafted Ed Oliver at number 9. Somehow he fell to number 9. They're not going to get worse. That's the main story behind this whole thing. They're not going to go 6-10 or 4-12 or 5-11. No. If Josh Allen does what I think he'll do this year, and I love myself some Josh Allen. If you know me, I love myself some Josh Allen. If he doesn't mess up, this is a full year with him without stupid quarterback controversy, dealing with MV Peterman and AJ McCarron. They've got a backup in Matt Barkley. And a full year with Brian Dable as the OC. With those receivers and the new O-line, if the Bills go less than 500, I will be absolutely shocked. Let's just put it that way. I'm looking directly into the lens. I usually don't do that. I kind of look to the side because I feel weird staring at the little tiny thing. The Bills will not be worse than 500. If they are, that's something crazy. Something bad happened. There's no way they do that. They're going to be pushing a playoff spot this year. That's my prediction. The number 2 ranked defense, all the changes they made on offense, that abysmal offensive line with that abysmal receiving core, they're not going to be worse. They're actually going to be pretty decent. In a couple years, they're going to be one of the better teams in the AFC. And when Tom Brady retires and when Belichick retires, the Bills will be right up there with the best in the AFC. Them and the Jets will be the 2 most improved teams in the next coming years. The Patriots, hoping they drop off a little bit when Tom Brady and Belichick ended up getting out of town. The Bills will go 9-7. I'm confident, and if they go worse than that, I will be shocked. I'll be absolutely shocked. I could see them getting better than 9-7. My dad, who's a diehard Bills fan, is crazy all the time. He likes going 11-5, but he's also crazy. Yeah, they're not going to finish below 500. They're not going to have the number 3 pick unless they trade for it. They're going to be a borderline playoff team. 9-7, Buffalo Bills. Lock that in.
Wow.
Moving on. we just talked about the New York Jets a little bit. The New York Football Jets. I don't know if that's their name. We got the Football Giants. We got the Football Jets. The New York Jets added great pieces this offseason. Getting Le'Veon Bell, though he sat out an entire year, is one of the best running backs, if not the best running back when he plays. His patience and his pass-catching ability out of the backfield make him insanely awesome at the running back spot. They also got C.J. Mosley, a quarterback of the defense, if you will, from the Baltimore Ravens, one of the best linebackers in the NFL to quarterback that middle of the defense. Jamal Adams still there. He'll quarterback the outfield, the secondary, basically. And yeah, they drafted Quinnen Williams at number 3.
I'm gonna go play with myself today.
They got Leonard Williams already there. Almost said Xavier Williams. He's on the Chiefs. UNI Panther. So you got Quinnen Williams, Leonard Williams. You got the Williams brothers. They're not brothers. They almost got Anthony Barr this offseason before he was like, oh, it felt like I was walking down the aisle, marrying the wrong girl. So I went back to Minnesota. Yeah, whatever. But yes, if Sam Darnold does what he needs to do, they got Ryan Khalil from the Carolina Panthers was cut. I don't know if he was retired. I think he was retired, but he's there in the NFL. He's back. He's with the Jets there in the NFL. They got Robbie Anderson on the outside, who I do think they still need to get a number 1 receiver. I think Robbie Anderson's very good, but I think he's more of a number 2 receiver. So if they can get another wide receiver next season, I think they could be a lot better than what they are right now. I think they could be a good team, not playoff team by any means, but a good team. They'll improve on last year. Yeah, they'll be a better team than last year. Sam Darnold in year 2. They got a new head coach, offensive-minded head coach in Adam Gase. We'll see how that goes there. Adam Gase is known as a player's coach, so we'll see how that goes there in New York. I have the Jets going 8-8 this season.
Wow.
Not making the playoffs, but making some noise along the way with some of the players they have at 8-8. Next team, Houston Texans. Now, the Houston Texans are coming off an 11-5 season last year, winning the division. Deshaun Watson, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. He's got a healthy Will Fuller this year at the wide receiver spot. Nice speedster on the outside. Take some of the pressure off DeAndre Hopkins there as well. DeAndre Hopkins, top 3 wide receiver in the league, if not the best wide receiver in the league, depending on who you ask. They got Lamar Miller there. They got Duke Johnson from Cleveland, which I talked about on Twitter. That is a great trade for the Houston Texans. Good pass catcher out of the backfield. Look what it did to Cam Newton and his completion percentage last year. He took less hits last year, I don't know if that's statistically, but from what I gathered, he took less hits. That's important. A nice pass catching back out of the backfield with Duke Johnson and Lamar Miller. It's a good 1-2 punch there. Their offensive line is still atrocious. They didn't really address it. They reached on an offensive tackle in the first round. So I think they were trying to get Andre Dillard from Washington State. The Eagles jumped them, so they kind of had to panic a little bit and get a guy. So we'll have to see how that goes from the Jadeveon Clowney situation. Is weird. J.J. Watt's there as well. Don't have Tyrann Mathieu there anymore, but I think the Texans are still a playoff team. I have the Texans at 10-6, and I think the addition of Duke Johnson will be awesome, and a healthy Will Fuller will be awesome for Deshaun Watson this year. 10-6 for the Houston Texans.
Wow.
Next team on our list, we got the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons, interesting bunch. Probably the least consistent team in the NFL. From whenever Matt Ryan's been the starter, they've been all over the place. They'll finish third. I think the last time Dirk Cutter was the OC was 12-14. They went 13-3, and I think 4-12 the next season. They're the most inconsistent bunch of players and team I've ever seen in my entire life. They're all over the place. You never know what to expect this year. I had them going to the Super Bowl last year. I'm not predicting that this year. Now, they do have Julio Jones there. They still got Ridley there on the outside as well. Very good number 2 receiver for him. They got Austin Hooper at tight end. Very good tight end there. Got a healthy Deontay Freeman in the backfield. They don't have Tevin Coleman anymore off to San Francisco, which is a pretty big loss for the Atlanta Falcons. They got their offensive line better with Chris Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry in the first round of the draft, this past draft, trying to help Matt Ryan out. Their defense just needs to stay healthy. That's the issue with their defense. They just need to stay healthy. And so, I don't even remember what they went last year. I think they went 7-9 or something like that, 6-10. They could go they might mess around and go 12-4 this year. But I'm going 8-8 right now. I think that's a safe bet. Get Dirk Cutter back in there, Matt Ryan's old offensive coordinator from 12 to 14. Get him back in there, back in a role he's more suited for. He's not a head coach, so get him back in a role he's more suited for. I'm gonna give him a year of figuring it out, and then 8-8, barring injuries, barring anything really, inconsistency issues. We'll just see how the Falcons do. But 8-8, I think that's a reasonable record for the ATL this season.
Wow.
Next team on the list, the Chicago Bears. Now, I've been seeing a lot of things that have a lot of interesting takes on the Chicago Bears this season. Now, some say they're going to take a giant step back this season. Everyone's going to figure them out. The thing with Chicago Bears, I think the Bears go as far as Trubisky can take them, because the Bears defense, best defense in the league. Don't want to hear about it. Best defense in the league. Khalil Mack's there. That's all you really need to say. Khalil Mack's my defensive player of the year this year. Sack leader this year. They're best defense in the league. Eddie Jackson, Fuller there as well. Lost Adrian Amos to the Green Bay Packers. Roquan Smith's there. They've got the best defense in the NFL. That's not the issue. It's the offense. If Trubisky doesn't mess it up, he's kind of like, he's on a higher level. Obviously, he's better, but I'm going to compare him to like a Trent Dilfer type thing. Just don't mess it up. He's got some issues that a lot of people have. He's a big gap between people. You think he's a good quarterback or you think he's a terrible quarterback. You see that all over social media. People mixed feelings about Trubisky, left, right, all over the place. It's like politics. You're going to have an argument about, oh, he stinks. No, he's actually pretty good. I think his mobility is good sometimes. Yeah, but he takes errant throws all the time. But that's because of his base and his footwork and stuff like that. Oh, it's just because he stinks. But I think he's just all over the place. If he can stay calm, get stuff sorted out, the Bears will be really good this year. They'll win the division again. They traded away Jordan Howard to the Philadelphia Eagles. Still have Tariq Cohen in the backfield. Got David Montgomery, a very good draft pick from Iowa State, home state of Iowa. Not an Iowa State fan, but I think that's an awesome draft pick. One of the guys who could win Rookie of the Year this year. Outside, Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel. They got those guys still there. Who's the tight end? Burton? I think that's his name. But yeah, the Bears, they'll win the division again. They'll go 11-5. I think if Trubisky plays good, they can make a run. Like, not just make the playoffs, because I think that's a lock anyways. I think gets them to they might get to the Super Bowl. I think Trubisky, I just thought about that now. He's kind of like a Trent Dilfer. Now, I don't know. He's better than Trent Dilfer. Let's just say that right now. He's not Trent Dilfer and like, oh, he's not going to be a starter anymore. Even though you see those people that are sit on the side that don't like him compared to the likes of Blake Bortles. If he leaves, they might be better and he'll never be a starter in the NFL again. But I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with either one. I think his footwork needs to get switched up. And I think he'll be fine. But I think the Bears 11-5, winning the division and making the playoffs. We'll see how they do once the playoffs come around.
Wow.
The Cincinnati Bungles. Yes, the Bungles are back. Zach Taylor, former Nebraska quarterback, current friend of Sean McVay, which got him the job here in Cincinnati. It's finally taken over. They got the old regime out. Marvin Lewis is gone. Cincinnati Bengals fans can look towards the future. Look towards the future, because this year's not going to be a fun year for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is Andy Dalton's last year in the Cincinnati Bengals. If it's not his last year, he's going to be a guy that is like the Alex Smith of a team. Or, what's another example? Chad Henne or a Tommy Maddox with Ben Roethlisberger. We'll have to see how that goes. This might be his last year as a full-time starter. And I think if they get the number 1 or 2 pick, I think Justin Herbert's their guy. I can just envision it in my head. Justin Herbert wearing Cincinnati Bengals uniform. I can just picture it. Perfect. You got Joe Mixon there at the running back spot. Him and Tyler Boyd are really your only two saving grace on offense, because A.J. Green's injured again. So we'll have to see how that goes for them with those two, Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd. Joe Mixon going to be one of the top fantasy backs this year, I think, because he's the only really good player on their offense other than Tyler Boyd. Jonah Williams, first round draft pick, top 10 pick, it was number 11. Number 11 pick, out for the season. I think it was a shoulder injury. So we'll have to see how that goes. Vontaze Burfict out in Oakland. So we'll see how that goes there. But I don't think the Bengals aren't going to be that good. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to be a Bengals fan this year. Not good. Just look towards the future. It's fine. Just look towards the future. I'm a Cubs fan. For my entire childhood, we were looking towards the future. So yeah, 3-13 for Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow.
Next team. The Arizona Cardinals, probably the most interesting team, or one of the most interesting teams. Kyler Murray is a starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals this year. Barely taller than he's about as tall as my dad, which isn't very big if you've seen my dad. He's not a very big person. But, I don't know, Kyler Murray's a baller. Dude can ball, don't get me wrong. Dude balled it up at OU. He struggled at A&M, but everyone did. He was switching time with Kyle Allen. Didn't really get his feet set up at Texas A&M, but at OU, balled out, won the Heisman Trophy, got drafted by the Oakland Athletics, said no, go and play football with Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is interesting. He got fired from his college job for not doing very good, took the OC job at USC, left, and then got a head coaching job. You got a promotion after getting fired. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I get your whole I'm Sean McVay, I'm another version. I'm a young coach with a good offensive idea that couldn't do it in college football, but I put up good stats. Didn't win anything, but we gotta put up good stats.
It's not about winning, it's about fun.
It doesn't mean anything. You didn't win. You got freaking fired. You got a promotion for getting fired. People have dreams of coaching the NFL. You got it after you got fired from Texas Tech. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. You got your quarterback, traded away Rosen the Chosen to Miami. We'll see how that goes this year, which we talked about that already. Cardinals, your O-line still stinks. You got weapons for Kyler, though. You got Hakeem Butler on the outside. You got Andy Isabella in the draft as well. You got Byron Murphy from Washington at the cornerback spot to get another corner opposite Patrick Peterson. But yeah, your O-line stinks. You got Christian Kirk on the outside, Larry Fitzgerald, David Johnson, one of the best running backs in the league if he's on it. But your O-line is atrocious. I don't know what to tell you. Kyler Murray, good thing he's mobile because he's going to be running around a lot this season. It'll be very interesting to see how he does and if he lasts the entire season. They got Brett Hundley as a backup, who's a very solid backup quarterback for the Cardinals. I don't know how he'll do this year. I'm cheering for Kyler because I like Kyler. I think he's a very talented football player, one of the most talented football players I've seen in college football. Like, to have the ability to run and his ability to throw the football is insane. Kyler Murray, very good thrower of the football. But we'll have to wait and see how this goes. I think it's going to be a long year for Arizona again. I think they might just stay the same. I think 3-13 for the Arizona Cardinals this year. Maybe they do a little better, but I don't think it's going to be that great for the Arizona Cardinals this year. Sorry, boys. 3-13.
Wow.
Next team here. The Denver Broncos, going back to the AFC West. Denver Broncos getting a new quarterback in Joe Flacco. Big strapping young man, the elite quarterback Joe Flacco is there in Denver. Get him out of that whole situation in Baltimore where he's not the starter anymore. Might have a situation a little bit later down the road if he gets injured again and Drew Lock goes in. Drew Lock, their quarterback of the future. Got Phillip Lindsay, one of the most talented running backs coming off his rookie season last year. He went undrafted, made the Pro Bowl but didn't play because of, I think, a thumb injury. Got some decent wide receivers on the outside. Got Noah Fant at tight end with the 20th pick of the draft. Got him from Iowa. Joe Flacco's passer rating is considerably better when throwing to tight ends. Some of his favorite targets have been tight ends throughout his career. Still got Von Miller, Bradley Chubb there on the outside edges, rushing the quarterbacks. So there'll always be a threat there. The Denver Broncos, I don't know. I think they'll be tough this year.
Tough, man. T-U-P-H.
I think they'll be tougher. So they got Juwan James from the Miami Dolphins. That'll be an interesting one. Still got Garrett Bowles there. We'll see how the offensive line holds up. I think the Broncos can go like 7-9. We said 6-10 last year. Got that exactly right because, we get things exactly. We got 3 teams exactly right. We talked about 2 of them. 7-9, I think, for the Denver Broncos. I think that's a decent record for the Denver Broncos this season.
Wow.
All right, we got to spin the wheel again. We're getting less teams, though, so that's good. The wheel of teams is shrinking. The New York Football Giants, one of the biggest jokes of this past offseason with the NFL draft, drafting Daniel Jones number 6 overall this past year's draft. I love the thing where you go, if you love a guy, get him, so no one else gets him. But Daniel Jones would have been available at your later 2 picks. Or your later picks. I can't remember if they had 2 first-round picks or 3 first-round picks. They ended up with 3 first-round picks, but I can't remember if they traded back. You had the 6th pick and the 17th pick, if I remember right. He would have been there at 17. He would have been there perfectly fine. And the fact that you talked about for weeks before the draft or days before the draft how you needed an edge rusher and you passed on Josh Allen at number 6, who went number 7 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, is mind-boggling to me. And not only the fact, Daniel Jones can prove to be a very good quarterback. I'm not going to call anyone a bust or put hate on anybody before they played a snap in the NFL. Never going to do that. But I think that pick was wasted because I think Jones, though he could be very good, would have been available at that later pick. Not saying anything that he will suck in the NFL. No. I think you should have drafted Josh Allen there and taken Jones with that later pick. Now, you did get Dexter Lawrence there from Clemson. We talked about with Christian Wilkins, one of the best D tackle pairings, D lines in all of college football. Some would even say history. And then you got a quarterback from Georgia in DeAndre Baker, who could be very decent at cornerback there. But I don't know. I think you had other issues there. I think you could have got an edge rusher there. You did get the guy from Old Dominion, who I can't remember his name. It's a very interesting name. I can't remember how to say it, though. He was really good in Old Dominion last year in the 3rd round, but I don't know. We'll see Daniel Jones probably later this season, though, because I don't think Eli's going to be able to handle this season. He's got no wide receivers this season. I'm not going to talk about all the things that have gone on with the wide receivers because I'll just pull that up on the screen or something because there's so many to talk about. You do have Evan Ingram there, very talented tight end, one of the best running backs in the league in Saquon Barkley back there, which always takes the pressure off a quarterback. And you got Jabril Peppers, Kevin Zeitler, and the Olivier Vernon, Odell Beckham Jr. trades. Landon Collins is gone. Again, replaced him with Jabril Peppers. DeAndre Baker is there. It'll just be an interesting year for the New York Giants. I don't think it'll be a very good year. They went 5-11 last year. I'm going to say 4-12 this year. Maybe they go 5-11 this year. Some guy on ESPN was saying they'll do better. Maybe they do better. Maybe they go 6-10. I don't know. They're not going to get much better, but I think 4-11 or 4-12. Sorry. Is about where the Giants see, and I think we'll see Daniel Jones some point through the latter parts of the season next year. Though when a team's bad, they'll throw out their rookie quarterbacks sometimes just to see what they look like. So we'll probably see Jones later in the season, but right now it's Eli's team, and I'm saying 4-12 for the New York Giants.
Wow.
The Green Bay Packers. Now, this is an interesting team this year. They got a new head coach in Matt LaFleur, who was the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans last season. I think their offense was ranked 29th last year in the league. Total offense, I think their offense was ranked 29th, or it was in the 20s. It might not have been 29th. But you got to remember, you're upgrading here with the Green Bay Packers. You got Aaron Rodgers over Marcus Mariota, Devontae Adams over Corey Davis, over everybody the Titans have at wide receiver. Jimmy Graham, Mercedes Lewis, Jay Sternberger over, they didn't have Delaney Walker last year, so whoever they had there. So yeah, I would take everybody. Maybe I'd take Derrick Henry over Aaron Jones. That's even a maybe. But because Aaron Jones is I think he's very underrated. But yeah, you're upgrading with those guys, and they're just talking about what does it feel like to be Aaron Rodgers' boss. He's like, I don't like to be called Aaron Rodgers' boss, more like a partnership. So we'll see how this partnership goes on offense. I think it could work out very well. The defense is building into an actually strong defense through the draft. Jair Alexander's turning into one of the best corners in the league, getting one of the best young corners in the league. They got Adrian Amos from the Chicago Bears this offseason. Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith coming as linebackers. Zadarius an outside linebacker. Preston more of a can't remember if he's inside or outside linebacker, don't remember. They lost Clay Matthews, but they got Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary is all potential. Didn't really perform that well there at Michigan, but he's all potential. A athletic freak. Some call him the most athletic player in the entire draft. So we'll have to see how he does there. But they're building a nice defense there. Some say it's even a top 5 defense. Some are saying it's a top 10 defense. I don't know. It's a very interesting defense. I think if the Packers' offense can get it figured out and their defense can get it mixed together, I think the Packers will make the playoffs. I have the Packers going 10-6 this season and making the playoffs. It'd be interesting to see what they do in the playoffs, but as right now, if they can get everything sorted out, Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers can be like that, and the defense can hold their own, I don't see why this offense can't be. They got young receivers out wide to partner with Devontae Adams. They don't have Randall Cobb anymore, but they got Aaron Jones back in the backfield. Aaron Rodgers is still a great quarterback. He can make things happen for the Green Bay Packers. 10-6 this year. I might be off, but 10-6 for the Packers this season.
Wow.
The New Orleans Saints. Now I was getting tired of them whining about the referee in the playoff game against the Rams this offseason. I'm tired of looking at him, tired of hearing about it, but I think they'll use that as a motivation factor this year. They lost Mark Ingram to the Baltimore Ravens this year, but they gained the Tay train. I'll do this for Noah and Jared. And yeah, Latavius Murray comes in, will be the power back there. Still got Alvin Kamara there. Drafted Eric McCoy at center from, I think, A&M. So he'll be center. He's battling with Nick Easton, I believe, for the center spot. Still got Drew Brees. Still got Mike Thomas. Still got Alvin Kamara. Saints will be good this year. Defense still, Marshawn Lattimore is there. Malcolm Brown, they got him, the defensive tackle from the Patriots. And Jared Cook at tight end. Very good tight end for the Oakland Raiders last year. I'm pretty sure he led them in every single important receiving category last year. Maybe wrong. I know he led them in receiving yards. Very good signing there for the New Orleans Saints. Add another receiving weapon for Drew Brees there. I think the Saints go 12-4, easily make the playoffs, and we'll talk about them a little bit when the playoff part comes out for this segment. 12-4 for the New Orleans Saints.
Wow.
The Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is another interesting one. The Baltimore Ravens lost a few important pieces on defense. Terrell Suggs, C.J. Mosley, Eric Weddle, all gone. Zadarius Smith, we just talked about on the Green Bay Packers. So we got all these guys gone. Still got Jimmy Smith there at the cornerback spot. Got Earl Thomas, who's coming off, I think it was a broken leg last season. So coming off that'll be interesting to see how he comes back with playing from that injury. Now, the offense is getting more molded towards Lamar Jackson's skill set. Got to let Marquise Brown outside to replace his speedster and John Brown with another younger speedster in Marquise Brown. Got Mark Ingram in the backfield for Lamar Jackson and got a plethora of tight ends there in Baltimore. But I do think the Baltimore Ravens take a step back this year. They finished well last year with Lamar Jackson as the starter, but I think they take a little step back. This one might be the most wrong out of all my predictions, and I'm ready to accept that. I think this one will probably be the worst one, but it might be 100% correct because, I'm Logan Blackman. I get everything right, and except for things I don't. But I got the Ravens going 7-9. We'll just have to see how this season goes for the Baltimore Ravens. Got Willie Snead outside, wide receiver. I don't know how well Lamar progressed as a thrower this offseason. We'll see how that will go. But I could see them going better than 7-9. But right now I have them 7-9. That is subject to change throughout the season because they might go better than that. They finished, I think, 10-6 last year. Lost the first round of the playoffs to the Chargers. We'll see how they do. But 7-9 right now.
Wow.
All right, spinning the wheel again. The Los Angeles Rams, the other LA team coming off fresh off a Super Bowl appearance, losing in the Super Bowl. Sean McVay outsmarted by a much smarter man in Bill Belichick in the Super Bowl. This season will be interesting for the LA Rams. Ndamukong Suh is gone, went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. Todd Gurley's health is a massive question and a massive concern for the LA Rams this year. This is why they drafted a very talented Darnell Henderson from Memphis this offseason. They still got the likes of Jared Goff. Cooper Kupp will be healthy this year. Brandon Cooks still there. We'll have to see how they go this year. It'll be a very interesting season for the LA Rams. See how Todd Gurley's health is affected there. I I don't know, there's some reports that they might rest him at certain points in the year to preserve him throughout the season because they're going to need him more closer to the playoff time. And yeah, I don't know. With fantasy people, like all over ESPN are like, oh, he's a guy you want to avoid this draft. You want to avoid him in your fantasy drafts. But it'll be a very interesting season for the LA Rams this year. I think Cooper Kupp coming back into the fold of the offense is very key for Jared Goff, one of his favorite targets his rookie season. And I expect them to build a better relationship this season as well. I've got the Rams going 11-5 this season, 2-game drop off from last year, but 11-5 is still a very good season.
Wow.
Next team, the Detroit Lions or the Midwestern New England Patriots. The Detroit Patriots, what we call it. Matt Patricia's building his own Patriots empire, or trying to build his own Patriots empire in the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan. Now, the New England Patriots lost Rob Gronkowski. When Patricia was there, their best player was arguably their best player, Rob Gronkowski, retired this past offseason. The Lions took the next Rob Gronkowski, as a lot of people predict, in TJ Hawkinson. Love my boy TJ. Got Trey Flowers from the New England Patriots as well. Their D-line is starting to come together very well. Mike Daniels from the Green Bay Packers, and the best run-stopping D-tackle in the NFL, William Penn's own Damon Harrison. Beefy boy, Damon Harrison. Arguably the best run-stopping left defensive tackle, nose tackle in the entire league. The big miss, Glover Quinn retiring this past offseason. Still have Darius Slay on the outside from corner. Kenny Galladay still there at wide receiver. It'll be an interesting season. Nice second-year season for Kerryon Johnson. We'll see how the Lions do this year. They might be better than what I have them, but I do have them going. I have the Lions going 7-9.
Wow.
This season they could be better than that, but 7-9 I think is a reasonable prediction for the Detroit Lions this season. The Washington Redskins. Now, I was shocked they didn't try and trade up with somebody for Dwayne Haskins. I thought they would trade up for at least at most like the number 3 picks. The Jets were for reports where they're trying to trade back, and they didn't. They drafted Quentin Williams. Redskins stayed there and got their guy in Dwayne Haskins. Haskins, in a little bit of a quarterback battle with Case Keenum and Colt McCoy currently. I think McCoy's the starter, but he hasn't played because I think he's still coming back from injury. I don't care about the Redskins. I don't really follow them that closely. I don't really care. But Haskins, top 15 pick. They got Montez Sweat as well, trading back into the first round and getting him from Mississippi State. They got Terry McLaurin on the outside as well. Dwayne Haskins' teammate at Ohio State. Very important piece there. Still got Doxson there on the outside. But a important thing about their offense, Trent Williams has said he will hold out this season, which is a big loss. Top 3 tackle in the NFL, easily when healthy. He said he's holding out. So this is where a team like the Houston Texans could try to give them somebody and try and get Trent Williams from there. Because if Trent Williams goes to Houston, that'd be awesome for the Houston Texans. But we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds for the Redskins offense. But yeah, it should be a very interesting season for the Washington Redskins. It's not going to be a good one. They're not going to be very good. And depending on who their quarterback is, I don't know when Haskins will see game time, but he will see game time. Probably won't start the season, but he'll come in at some point in the season. His talent is too much for Gruden to ignore. I think he has to go in at some point, and I think the Redskins will go 5-11, not 11-5, 11-5. Oh my goodness, I said it again. 5-11 for the 5-11 for the Washington Redskins this season. I think that's a very reasonable record for Washington this year.
Wow.
Next team on here, the Minnesota Vikings, the Purple People Eaters. Now, this one, the Vikings they just need to not mess it up. They've got all the offensive talent in the world at their disposal. Kirk Cousins has a plethora of options to throw to. You got the best wide receiver duo considered, one of the best wide receiver duos in the league in Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, and you drafted Irv Smith Jr. from Alabama. You still got Kyle Rudolph there, a healthy Dalvin Cook in the backfield. Chad Beebe is reportedly making waves and will probably see most of the time at slot this year. So you got all these guys to throw to. Kirk Cousins see if he can elevate himself in year 2. They got Garrett Bradbury, the center from NC State, this season, which is a very fantastic pick. The Vikings defense just needs to go back to their normal self. Xavier Rhodes did not have a great year last year. Just go back to their normal things. Their defense didn't really change that much. They have the talent to be a top 5, top 10 defense. Just a matter of if they do it or not. We'll have to wait and see. But I have the Vikings going 10-6. But I think that's a good redo from last season, which struggled a little bit. Once the Vikings lost to the Bills, their whole season went down the toilet. They completely underestimated the Bills. My dad and I were at that game, and they did not expect the Bills to do what they did there. I don't think the Bills knew that too. A lot of people were expecting the Bills to go 2-14 last year. Some even going as low as 1-15. But yeah, the Minnesota Vikings going 10-6. I think that's a good season for the boys in purple.
Wow.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is my best team in the AFC. The Kansas City Chiefs are just loaded on all parts of their offense. It's just insane. Patrick Mahomes, reigning MVP, reigning Offensive Player of the Year, 50 touchdown passes last season. They got Damian Williams back there replacing Kareem Hunt. Was very good towards the end of the season once he started playing more consistently. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Do we need to say anything about them? Mecole Hardman, got him in the second round this year. First pick for them this year. Sammy Watkins, if he's healthy, makes a decent target on the outside as well. They've got a lot of options in Kansas City with that gunslinger slinging it around. Offensive line's not great, but if you get the ball out as fast and you can have the mobility of Patrick Mahomes, you can make all of those throws. Their defense, they added Tyrann Mathieu this year. They also got Frank Clark from the Seattle Seahawks, trading Dee Ford to the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, and they added a couple corners this year in Maurice Claiborne and Brashad Breeland. So we'll see how they all do coming together this season. Their defense was a big issue, especially their pass defense last year. So you can get like Tyrann Mathieu there. Very experienced, very talented player on that secondary spots. That should elevate their defense. I had the Chiefs going 13-3 this season.
Wow.
All right, our next team on the wheel of teams is the Oakland Raiders. Hard Knocks 2019. They have a lot of cast. They have a big cast of characters here in Oakland. Antonio Brown, Richie Incognito, and Vontaze Burfict. Good Lord. That is 3 characters right there. The Raiders made some good moves this offseason. Derek Carr is still there as a starting quarterback. Got Josh Jacobs from Alabama. At the running back spot, Doug Martin's still there for some reason. Tyrell Williams, a very good number 2 option for the Oakland Raiders there. Hunter Renfrow from Clemson's a good pickup there. Cleveland Ferrell, a lot of people considered that a reach at number 4. Very talented defensive end, though. No, he's a little high, but he's a very talented defensive end. You also got Max Crosby from Eastern Michigan there as well. Jonathan Abram came in the first round as well. Very good, hard-hitting safety there from Mississippi State. I think, and they got Trent Brown from the New England Patriots. Colton Miller will play as well. They've improved. They have improved. Now, I don't know what the record will be exactly. This one was kind of just like a random arrow in the dark. They could really go anywhere. I don't really know. I do have the Raiders going 5-11. Am I confident in that prediction? Not at all. Not at all am I confident with that. But I don't know. We'll have to see how this one goes. There's a lot of different cast of characters there in Oakland. It's all a lot of new people there. So we'll see how Gruden handles everybody, but I think 5-11 might be a little low. 6-10 might be right too. I think closer to 6-10 than 5-11, but I am going to say 5-11 for my prediction here.
Wow.
5 teams. Let's do it. The San Fran 49ers, they made some fantastic moves this offseason. They've been trying to build that defensive line for years. I think they've got the perfect formula now. Getting the likes of Nick Bosa in this past year's draft, getting the likes of Dee Ford from the Kansas City Chiefs this year, trading for him this past offseason, and then having the likes of DeForest Buckner already there as well. DeForest Buckner, Pro Bowler last season, monster dude in the interior of that D-line. Solomon Thomas, Eric Armstead there as well. This is going to be a big year for Solomon Thomas this year. And also you've got Quan Alexander from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, very, very good middle linebacker there, will quarterback that inside of the defense. And you got Jason Verrett. If he can stay healthy, he's a very talented corner. The problem is he can't stay healthy. And also on the San Francisco 49ers, on this other side of the ball, you got Jimmy G coming off his ACL injury from last season. See if he comes back to full strength. In the running back spots, you got Jarrett McKinnon, Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida all there. You got a record-setting tight end and former Iowa Hawkeye George Kittle. Dante Pettis expected to have a big year this year, a good year this year. Marquise Goodwin on the outside as well. We'll see how the 49ers how they do this year. I do have them going 8-8. Some people have them winning at least 10 games, but I think 8-8's reasonable coming off not a great season last year. Didn't have their starting quarterback. Had Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard kind of rotating. We'll see how they do this year, but with an improved defensive line and wide receivers to take the pressure off George Kittle with Jimmy G spreading the ball, a better running back situation behind him, they should be better this year. I think 8-8 is a good record for the San Fran 49ers.
Wow.
Next team, the Tennessee Titans. Now, I think this is a very interesting team this year. I think this might be the last year of the Marcus Mariota time. I think his time's up in Tennessee. They've already been talking about Ryan Tannehill possibly starting the season in front of Mariota. So if they they have a bad record, and even if they don't, they can trade up. They're going to try and draft a quarterback this year. This is what I'm thinking. I think if they don't do well, and then that will mean they've gone through, I think, 4 or 5 years with Mariota, and he's still not developing after they've tried and tried to do stuff. They just got to scrap it and just get someone else. And you get a guy like Jake Fromm, who could be a later pick. The Utah State quarterback as well. Maybe you want to go dark horse and get Derrick King from Houston if you want to stay mobile quarterback. And you got Derrick Henry behind him, so you got a good running back there. Deion Lewis there as well. Corey Davis on one side. I think they got A.J. Brown on the other side as well. A healthy Delaney Walker coming off an Achilles injury. Not a very easy injury to come back from. Taylor Lewan is suspended for the first 4 games for violation of the NFL's drug policy. So we'll see how he does when he comes back. One of the top left tackles in the league when he's playing, which is a big loss for the Tennessee Titans this year. But we might see a Ryan Tannehill take more snaps this year for the Tennessee Titans. It should be a very interesting season for the Tennessee Titans, but I have them going 6-10. Sorry to all my Tennessee Titans fans out there, but 6-10 is what I have your team going.
Wow.
All right, here we go. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a completely new team this season after last season, losing Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown to the Jets and Raiders, respectively, which is where you listen to Logan Blackman show on 94.5 KULT, everything you and I, Mondays through Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 to 1. You would have heard me say that numerous times, or follow me on Twitter at the LB _ show. You can see all my social media stuff there. I'll leave that all in the description below. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are a new-look team. James Conner coming off a Pro Bowl season as their starting running back, having a full season being the #1 guy. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to have to adjust being a #1 guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They do have likes of James Washington there, and I think they drafted another receiver, but I can't remember his name. The Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to be a new team this year. A lot of people are like, well, they've got all these less distractions. They're going to be a better team this year. Well, they're also not as talented. So you got 2 of the most talented players in the NFL, Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, not there anymore. I can't see you going like, oh, well, they're going to finish 12-4. Now, they probably are going to finish 12-4 now that I said that. But then on defense, they got Devin Bush, linebacker from Michigan, traded up with Denver to get him at number 10. Interesting fashion choices, I would say, for Devin Bush at the draft, but what do I know? I'm just making a video talking about a guy who doesn't even know who I am. Well, for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, I have them going 9-7. Should be an interesting year this year. I think that's about right. I think that'll be a decent year for them.
Wow.
Moving on, 9-7. The Cleveland Browns. I kind of wanted to end with them, but whatever. The Cleveland Browns are a new look football team. It's hard to believe 2 years ago they were 0-16, and with Hugh Jackson they were 31-1. This is absolutely insane record right there. And now there are talks about them being betting favorites to go to the Super Bowl, which is kind of crazy. They're not going to the Super Bowl this year. They do have some hype. They got some really good players in Odell Beckham Jr. and Olivier Vernon from the New York Giants. It should be interesting there to see how they all pan out. They still got Myles Garrett there. Got Greedy Williams in the second round to partner with Denzel Ward on the opposite side there. Should be a very, very good season for the Cleveland Browns. Completely different from what they're used to. They got Baker Mayfield, the quarterback there. David Njoku, one of the most talented young tight ends in the league. Nick Chubb's there at running back. Kareem Hunt will be there after, I believe, 4 games. They don't have Duke Johnson there anymore, but we'll have to work around that. But I think the Browns this year will go 10-6. I think that's a very reasonable record. 11-5, maybe, but 10-6 right now is what I think the Browns will go this season.
Wow.
Oh no! Look at that. Who will it land on? Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles are a lot of people's favorites to win the NFC this year. They're getting Carson Wentz fully there. They got Josh McCown today to back him up. Nick Sudfeld is there as well. Nate Sudfeld's there as well to be the other backup. And then you got Deshaun Jackson back, speedster at wide receiver. Alshon Jeffrey there, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. Drafted Andre Dillon to eventually replace Lane Johnson at the outside tackle spot, left tackle spot. Should be a very interesting season this year for the Philadelphia Eagles. They will be very good this year. I think they'll be the number 1 seed in the playoffs for the NFC. I think 13-3 for the Philadelphia Eagles this year.
Wow.
That's if Carson Wentz stays healthy, because I don't know if they won't be able to do the same things they did when Nick Foles was the starter there, because Josh McCown's not that. Josh McCown's a very experienced backup, journeyman quarterback, but he's not going to be able to lead you to a Super Bowl, I don't think. So if Carson Wentz stays healthy, 13-3, really talented players around him. Got Jordan Howard in the backfield, and if not him, you got Miles Sanders back there from Penn State. You got some good players there for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I think 13-3 is a good record for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. And now let's move on to the playoffs.